In 1985, DC Comics released Crisis on Infinite Earths. The book was designed not only to celebrate its long, glorious history of characters, of heroes and villains, but also as a way to streamline its timeline, creating the first ever comic book reboot. This reboot would continue on, and while be touched with a little bit with books such as 0 Hour Crisis in Time and Infinite Crisis, for the most part, the timeline stayed the same until 2010, where DC Comics decided they wanted to reboot their timeline and create the New 52. Well, not everyone took well to this though. For example, long-term fans didn't like how some characters' personalities have been shifted to be a little bit more edgy or dark to match the times of 2011. And other fans didn't like the fact that a lot of the covers and female character design felt cheesecakey. They were designed to be a little too sexual. When we get to those characters, we'll talk about them. What better way to kick off the New 52 with the book that started it all, Flashpoint. Originally written as just a solo story, it was decided later on by editorial to make it a story to start the New 52 universe, if you would. Flashpoint, written in 2011 by Jeff Johns and Andy Kubert, is a 5-issue miniseries where Barry Allen, aka The Flash, aka the fastest man alive, wakes up in an alternate world where his mother's alive, Barry doesn't have his powers, Cyborg is the premier hero of the world, Batman looks like this, and Wonder Woman and her Amazonian warriors are at war with Aquaman and his Atlantean warriors and they're destroying Europe. What? Yeah, this is actually a crazy story, but a pretty fun one and self-contained story. If you don't know anything about The Flash, this is actually a pretty good one to jump into, to be completely honest. The artwork in it is amazing, as you can see with the images that have been popping up on screen. Unfortunately, there are some problems with the book, alright? Outside of The Flash, Batman, and Cyborg, a lot of the characters in the story are there to just promote their tie-ins, and there are a lot of tie-ins. And honestly, I've read only a few of them. I didn't read any for this review, but I read a few of them back in the day. The Batman one pretty good. The Green Arrow one is okay. But yeah, if you like Flashpoint, you should definitely check out the side stories, as it kind of fleshes out the world a little bit more. Yeah, unfortunately, one of the bigger problems with this story, though, is that the villains of the story, who are basically Aquaman and Wonder Woman, who are very evil and sadistic versions of their original selves, don't really get any development. You literally go into the book not knowing why this war is even happening. And the book doesn't care to tell you. If you want to know what's happening, you have to read one of the tie-ins that explains why this war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman is happening. Overall, I would definitely recommend this book. It's a fun book. The artwork's amazing. The story is pretty simple, and it's pretty easy for anyone who doesn't really know anything about The Flash or DC Comics overall to understand what's happening. While you won't have the gripping reality or reality shaking moment as a fan of the comic book would seeing some of these events. For example, like reading a comic book and all of a sudden Captain America is a Nazi. If you don't know who Captain America is, the fact that he's a Nazi won't hit you as hard as someone who does know who Captain America is. And there's a lot of characters, especially Wonder Woman and Aquaman, who come off like that in this story where if you know who they are, it hits you more. But if you don't, you understand that they're villains who need to be stopped. The book, they actually did get a movie back in 2013 called Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox, which honestly fixes a lot of the problems with this book, as it does through certain flashbacks hint at some of the storylines that would have been covered in the tie-in comics. The biggest, however, legacy of this book is that it started the New 52. And since it started the New 52, we're going to use this book to start my review of the New 52. See, the New 52 released 52 comics every year. 52 titles, I would say, every year. And the idea was that if a title didn't do well, they would just simply replace it with a new one. So, in honor of the fact that 2021 will be the 10-year anniversary of the New 52 starting, I am going to review the first volume of the first 52 comics, going from Justice League all the way to whatever my schedule says, which should be on the screen right now. So I do want to wish all y'all a happy new year. I hope that 2021 turns out to be a lot better than our 2020 was. God knows we need that. And remember that happiness is a choice, so choose to be happy. And then join me on my year-long quest as I go through my retrospective of DC's New 52. And we out.